Hello everyone, it's Richard Lewis here again with another video. Haven't done a pre-recorded esports report thing for a while, been incredibly busy. Been doing a lot of streaming, been doing a lot of writing again, just work. You know how it is. But there was a story that happened last month that really went under everyone's radar. I was very surprised actually nobody brought it up or tweeted it out or whatever. And I'm going to give you a little bit of esports history in with this. I think you'll probably find it interesting. But just to give you a bit of landscape, a lot of people think I'm crazy when I talk about organized crime potentially coming to esports. People go, "Oh, Richard, it's so far-fetched. You're so paranoid." They say that even though it's been proven that, for example, there was Russian mafia ties to Team Fortress 2 keys, that they were using it as a form of money laundering. We know all about the gambling nonsense and these rigged casinos and rigged case opening sites. I still, every day, I just wake up and go, please let this be the day that the FBI investigate this. Never really happens, but we'll wait and see. But anyway, there was definitely proof that organized crime has come to esports, and you have to go back to 2012 to know about it. Now, anybody who follows League of Legends will have heard of the team Moscow 5. They were the legendary team that went on to become Gambit Esports. Their organization also had a pretty decent CIS region, mainly Russian 1.6 team way back in the day. In fact, if I remember rightly, I think it was those guys that went to the Indian Gaming Carnival, another ridiculous scam LAN, and got completely burned, even to the point where I think they might have even got mugged or something. Story for another time. But yes, in 2012, there was a report that their manager, who was in Amsterdam at the time, and I can't quite remember why they were there, the way my brain remembers it, because 2012 is a long time ago for an old man, was that they were there for another esports event. But their manager was swooped on and got arrested by Interpol. There was armed police there, and everyone was like, what the fuck? And it got reported about in the gaming press. We picked it up on Cadred. It was over on Gosu Gamers. There was a few of the sites. Obviously, it was of interest to League of Legends at the time. And, I remember anecdotally talking to people about Moscow 5 and people like close to the organization, people within the organization. They used to say to me, yeah, it's a bit weird. We don't really know where the money's coming from. We've seen the owner do a bunch of swiping credit cards and we're not sure about any of this, but whatever the fuck, right? So anyway, this is the original report in Russian. It's pretty fucking Russian, as you can see. You'll just see that Moscow 5. I can't read Russian, but fortunately it's been translated for me. And basically the details are that the manager, who was a guy called Dima Smilyanets, who had the name D Dims online, or Didims, was arrested, and he was arrested in connection to what they were calling the largest credit card fraud operation in the history of the world. This was an operation that led to the arrest of 24 suspects in 13 countries. It spanned 4 continents, and over 2 years, it was estimated they stole $205 million. This is according to American intelligence services. So what happened off the back of this was the manager got renditioned away to America. It was actually just, there was a lot of talk at the time about, well, he's a Russian citizen, he's not going to get extradited to America. Well, he absolutely fucking did. There were reports at the time that he was being held without being allowed to see a lawyer. There was claims he was innocent. It was a misunderstanding that, his name was just, it was close to somebody else's. But what was insane about this is that this individual, who was just a fucking esports manager, had ties to really high up people in Moscow. People from something called the VTB development. And there was even some sort of like almost ambassadorial level people involved in this. It was absolutely crazy. So, I won't leave you looking at Cyrillic or whatever it's called text for too long, but I'll take you on to the next part. So after 2012, we're left waiting, like what happens here? And it was a long wait before indeed the Moscow 5 manager decided to cop a plea and pled guilty. And this was reported by my former colleague Samuel Lingle from the Daily Now Esports. And you can see here that the former Moscow 5 owner pleads guilty to his role in one of the biggest ever US hacking cases. We'll get into the specifics of what they were actually doing. But this was crazy because for a long period of time, people had assumed that there was just something strange going on, that this couldn't be real, that Moscow 5, this legendary team, couldn't have been funded by dirty money. It's just unthinkable, right? But certainly this was a team that didn't really have a lot of sponsors. And after this happened, the team dissolved. There was no money coming in. All Mr. Smiljanit's assets got frozen, of course. So that was it. It was just like, well, we're all going to go. And that's literally how sort of the Gambit team sort of came about. But you can see here, again, it sort of regurgitates some of the details. It says that it was indeed the largest hacking and data breach ever prosecuted in the United States. So no small potatoes, and gives some details just about what happened. Now, the sentencing finally took place last month. They've been waiting all this time, and I've been Googling this dude's name like just, once a month. I Google his name to see what's happening because I always wanted to find out what the fuck was going on, because as far as I was concerned, he'd just been took away to America and then just left in a cell. Well, he actually got sentenced, and it's not often you will see esports make it this high up. We made it. Okay, guys, we made it. We made it literally all the way to the the United States Department of Justice website. This is it. Moscow 5 manager on the Department of Justice. And you can see this was February the 15th, 2018. So I found out at the start of this month, March, and didn't have time to sort of get around to it. But just listen to some of the details of this shit. And if you ever think that, there's no way a criminal element could come into esports, like, understand that the largest data breach, credit card fraud has already funded a super successful team. So never say never. But anyway, you can see here it says 2 Russian nationals were sentenced yesterday to federal prison terms for their respective roles in a worldwide hacking and data breach scheme that targeted major corporate networks, compromised 160 million credit card numbers, and resulted in hundreds of millions of dollars in losses. One of the largest such schemes ever prosecuted in the United States. The sentences were announced, blah, blah. We don't need to know the name of the judges. You can see this is Vladimir Drinkman, 37. He was another one of the prominent people. He got 144 months in prison. And then you can see here, Dmitry Smiljanits, 34, of Moscow, previously pleaded guilty to conspiracy to commit wire fraud in a manner affecting a financial institution. And America takes that pretty goddamn serious. And was sentenced to 51 months and 21 days. Now, my understanding is that is time served, actually. That's how long he's been held for, and they gave him time served. So he's effectively out now. I doubt he'll be coming back to esports anytime soon. Probably people might bring this up. But look, just it's mad what they did. So it was 160 million credit card numbers, and they stole them sort of direct from credit card processors, banks, retailers, corporate victims. This wasn't like some shit low-level phishing scam where it was like, hey, you call up the little old lady, can I just have your credit card number to see if it's lucky and you've won a prize? This was fucking corporate hacking. And they called it a mega breach. So it's got details. Yeah, here we go. This is the interesting part down here. Drinkman and Smiljanets admitted to their roles in a conspiracy with 3 co-defendants to hack into the networks of corporate victims engaged in financial transactions, retailers that received and transmitted financial data, and other institutions with information that the conspirators could exploit for profit, including the computer networks of NASDAQ, 7-Eleven, Carrefour, JCP, Hannaford, Heartland, Wet Seal, Comedia, Dexia, JetBlue, Dow Jones, Euronet, Visa Jordan, Global Payment, Diners Club Singapore, and InGeniCard. Never heard of them, actually. That's the only one on the list. According to the indictment in this case and statements made in court, the 5 defendants each played specific roles in the scheme. Drinkman and a guy called Alexander Kalinin of St. Petersburg specialized in penetrating network security and gaining access to the corporate victim systems. Drinkman and Roman Kotov, 36 of Moscow, specialized in mining the networks to steal the valuable data. The hackers hid their activities using anonymous web hosting services allegedly provided by Mikhail Rytakov, 30, of Odessa, Ukraine. And Smiljanets was the guy that went out and sold the information that was stolen by the other conspirators and distributed the proceeds of the scheme to the participants, taking a little portion of it and funding Moscow 5. So you should honestly go to the website and read this whole thing is fascinating. It's just incredible to think that how much money they made. I mean, they even go into the specifics. Like, just look at this. The documents filed showed that they charged $10 for each stolen American credit card number, $50 for each European credit card number and associated data, and $15 for each Canadian credit card number and associated data. And they stole over 160 million of these fucking things. So lots of money. And yeah, just a wild story. One of the wildest in esports, and probably people don't know about it. So I wanted to just do a little video just to say, yep, the motherfucker got by the American government, 51 months. Probably got off lightly, all things considered. I wonder if he got a deal or rolled on some people or whatever. Probably not a good idea to do that, but I guess we'll wait and see how that pans out. But anyway, there you have it. So esports and organized crime, a match made in heaven, evidently, and it's been going on longer than you think. Fingers crossed that element doesn't come back. I'm lying, they're already here. But we'll wait and see. Anyway, look, thanks very much for watching this video. Just a quick one this time around, and I will see you next time. Take care.